Hey, you guys, welcome back to another episode of Between the Walls podcast. We're your hosts. My name is Jess.
And I'm Jonathan, and we are the Wallaces.
Yes, we are. So, how you doing?
I'm okay.
I realized, guys, on the last episode, which I'm thinking you guys are enjoying it. I haven't really checked because I don't really check the comments too much on the podcast.
Been good.
But I know we came in with like a heavier-ish topic, I think. I don't know what the responses were. I hope they were good.
No one was like
No.
clutching their no one was clutching their pearls.
I just feel like the word porn is a little strong. So, whatever. Okay.
Well, millions of people watch it.
That's true. But anyways, we are on to another episode. We're going to talk about something much lighter this time. But I realized on the last episode, we did not do our peaks of the weeks or the week. So I'm going to start off with you, babe. What's been your peak of the week?
My peak of the week was Sunday. It was just a fun day.
What happened Sunday? Oh, we were not together like barely at all Sunday.
But I got to hang out. I got to be at church. Church was fun.
Church was fun.
I got to be at home with my parents and brother and some friends, and that was cool just to be there. And then afterwards, I got to see my lovely wife and hang out with some of my other friends. It was just a nice day all together.
Yeah.
Good day.
That's nice. What's been my peak of the week? Okay, so my peak of the week, yesterday morning, I woke up really early. I woke up at like 6 a.m. and I just wanted to have like a specific set time with God instead of me trying to make or find time in the day. Like I set aside an actual time. So I woke up at 6 a.m. and I was in devotion and prayer and just listening to worship music for almost 2 hours. And it was so sweet. It's like I was trying to do this thing where you do like 1 hour of spending time with God. You do 20 minutes of prayer, 20 minutes of Bible reading, and 20 minutes of worship music or just worship. And the first 20 minutes, I was like, okay, I'm going to pray, but I just want to start off by thanking you, Jesus. And I just like, I couldn't even finish my sentence. And I just was crying for like the first 15 minutes. And I was like, thank you for... And I just like, I couldn't even finish my sentence.
Were you praying out loud?
In the beginning, I was praying out loud. But when I just started crying, I couldn't finish my sentence. And then when I was like, okay, let's like look at the prayer request list. Because I have like a list of all like the people other than myself that I want to pray for. Then I started praying in my head so it's easier to get the words out when you're praying, not saying them out loud. But it was a really sweet time. And I was like, oh, this is what it feels like to sit in the presence of God. Because most devotions, I do them like, they're like 15 minutes. I'm just trying to get it done so that I can move on and blah, blah. But I'm like, I got to sit and it felt so nice. I put on like what's called a worship pad. It's like, for those of you who don't like, know music, it's like, this is how you'll know what it is. When the preacher goes up and then you just hear like a while the preacher's preaching, like they have those on Apple Music. So I just put one on. And those really do set the mood. I see why preachers put it on. It really gets the tears and the choking up. So I thought that was really, really nice.
Yeah, well, that's great. Bamboo.
Yeah. But nothing much has really happened since the last time we recorded. So
yeah, life's been pretty.
It's been a very like kind of like a bland week. And sometimes that's a good thing.
Yeah, no.
Don't really need too much going on. I will say I am kind of sad about the possible TikTok ban because I feel like I've lately been getting a lot of my recipes and stuff from there. And now I'm like, dang, I got to cook the same way my ancestors did and just like figuring it out on my own. And I'm not mature enough to do that. Like,
you go on Charles Gary Patterson Chat Patterson
Chat
Thomas.
GPT. I guess. I don't know how to use that. Like, is it an app?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have the app. That's probably why I'm like...
That's the best thing ever, bro. I use it for recipes. I use it for
Jonathan uses ChatGPT so much.
It might be at this point, my most used app.
Yeah. Anytime I look over at Jonathan, if he's on his phone, he's on ChatGPT reading something.
I'm just like naturally inquisitive in general.
Yeah.
So it's like the questions that I want to ask Google, I could ask it to this, and it's just so much more specific.
Jonathan is he's very inquisitive, like he just said, but this is something that he always does, which it's really not a big deal. I just think it's funny. Like whenever we watch a movie or fix your face right now, or like a TV show that has, like, we're in a series of a TV show. If I look over, he'll be looking up how old is Selma Hayek or how old is Tom Cruise or whatever. I'm like, just like looking up stuff about the characters. I'm like, bro, watch the movie. But I do get it though. But I
My
usually,
brain is just going.
it's always going. I'm
I have
like,
a
bro, lock
question.
in.
I'm locked in. I just have a question that I need answered really quickly.
Right in the chat below, it is a chat. No, it's not. Right in the comment section below, if your man does that or if you're like that, because I can't, even at the movie theater, movies at home, he's always going to be looking up stuff on characters. But I kind of do that, like, but when it's over, like after I've fallen in love with a character, I have to actually like you. And then I'll like, if the series is over or something and I need more of you, I'll go on their Instagram and be like, oh, I wonder if they're married or what their husband looks like. Do they have kids? Like, I just want to see what they look like outside of their character. So I do that after. My husband does it during. Different strokes for different folks, whatever. So today we're going to talk about something.
Something?
So I think it's funny that we're actually talking about this because we are doing a 21-day fast with our church, right? And this fast is actually a little different than the past fasts we've done because like usually we would like fast from material things. Like, well, I guess food is kind of a material thing actually, but yeah, like superficial thing, kind of superficial, but things that we do use a lot in every day, but it doesn't really hurt. Like we'd fast from like social media or secular music or like podcasts, or I think one time I fasted from like YouTube, like blah, blah, blah. But then we listened to a sermon by Philip Anthony Mitchell that you actually sent me.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit on
the last one.
Yeah.
Did we? Oh, I don't remember. Yes, and basically he was just talking about like that's for soft Americans, like soft Christians fast from things like that. So I don't want to get into it too much because
Well,
go ahead. No, you.
Well, basically, I think it's more so that everything other than food can really just be replaced by something else.
Yeah.
In terms of your time, like if you sub social media, then you might just watch more YouTube.
Yeah.
If you sub out YouTube, you might just watch more TV. If you do TikTok, Instagram, like whatever it is, like you can usually find
They have replacements.
a replacement, but there's no replacement for food.
Right.
When you're hungry.
Yeah.
You're just hungry.
You're just hungry. So
and you can't run away. You can't really want to run away from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we decided to do food this time, and we normally do like the things that I mentioned before, and it's been going well so far. But I'm not here to talk about that. But I think it's funny because the last time that I actually fasted from food, I did a 3-day fast, and this was like 7 years ago because I was like, God, I need you to speak to me so clear right now, immediately. And that Jonathan is trying so hard. Just do it. Go for it. Because you've been holding it for a while. It's okay.
I yawned.
So, the last time that I fasted, I was like, God, I need you, blah, blah, blah. It was 7 years ago, and I was fasting because I was like, I need to know if Jonathan's my husband or not because I don't have time for this. So I fasted for 3 days. On the second day, I thought I was hot stuff, and I went to the gym, and I almost died. Fasted for 3 days from food. I'm like, God, is Jonathan my husband or not? Like, what are we doing? And then he did tell me that you were. And he was right. But I wanted to talk about our relationship because of the fact we were talking about last episode, how we watched The Ultimatum. Mm-hmm. And even though the premise of the show is ridiculous. You can explain to people, unless they have never seen it, what the premise of the show is.
The premise of the show is that they take couples who one of them wants to get married, but the other one is unsure. And with these couples, they pair them up with somebody else. So they switch partners to see if being with somebody else will spark their desire to be with the person they came with, like their current boyfriend or girlfriend. So at the end of the show, they either need to leave engaged with their partner or go home single or go home with this new person that they live with as well. That just met. So crazy.
Yeah, no, watching it back or watching the show is actually insane because it's like you're with someone for like 3 years and then the next week you're playing house with somebody completely different and not even thinking about your partner, which I thought was crazy. But I think the premise of that show is crazy, but I don't personally think that ultimatums are that bad. And I only say that because I did give Jonathan one. Actually, I gave you 2. I did it twice in our relationship, but I really think it depends on how you're using it. I think it can be used as like a form of power, which I don't think is the right way to do it. But I also want to talk about it because I feel like it's also a form of obedience, kind of, because I knew that God was telling us that we needed to break up, but I also kind of left it in Jonathan's hands also. So ladies, I'm going to tell you how to get your man to either commit or you can stop wasting your time. That's what we're going to be talking about in this podcast here. Commit or stop wasting our time, because I feel like a lot of women, and maybe some men also do it, like we hold on to things much longer than we need to because I think we're afraid of what the alternative is, being alone. But sometimes that's just way better. So let's bring it back to 5 years ago, around December. So not like around this time, kind of, but it was in December. I remember Jonathan and we were friends, but like with the tiniest bit of benefits. We would kiss every now and then, just a little bit.
Yeah.
You can.
We were like in a situation-ship at that point.
Yeah, like kind of. I mean, and yeah, we had kind of been in one for like flip-flopping for years, but I think this time, now that I lived closer, because before I lived like further away, but now that I live closer, I was like, all right, it's either like we're doing this or not. So I think I've told some of these stories before, but we're going to drive the point home here. So it was Christmas Day or Christmas night. I went to his parents' house. You know, we exchanged gifts. Wait, yeah, I got you this big gift. We weren't even together. There was no need for that. That was the gift that Pedro was talking about with your wrapping was different from everyone else's.
Do you remember what it was?
Huh?
Do you remember what it was?
Oh, no. I don't remember what it was, but it was a really big like box for no reason. Do you remember what it was?
No.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay. So ladies, don't waste your time because it doesn't matter to them anyways. So I got him this big gift. I gave it to him. And then at the end of the night, he kissed me. And I was like, okay. I didn't think anything of it because like we was kissing every now and then. So I was like, okay, whatever. The part that bothered me when I had to make the ultimatum is when I got home, he texted me. He's like, love you so much. Thank you for being my best friend. And I was like, okay. I need you to wrap this up because we had been calling each other best friends for a long time. And I'm like, I was 27 at the time, and I'm like, all right, hey, I'm pushing 30. I'm not trying to be a best friend at age 50. So I had to make a decision. I was like, either we go together or you not touching me again. Like, wrap it up. So that was kind of, I guess, the first ultimatum, I guess. But, I mean, it worked because he was like, I guess.
You're like calling it like an ultimatum, but I think more so it's like just standing on business.
A lot of ultimatums is standing on business. Either you do this or I'm out. It's this or that.
Yeah, but I think people can use ultimatums in a much more manipulative way.
I agree. Can you give me an example for the people at home?
You either never talk to your mom again or I'm leaving.
Yeah, that's crazy. Depending. Yeah, no, that's insane.
Either go with my family to Christmas or I'll never blah blah again.
Yeah, like or buy me this necklace or else we're not having sex tonight or something like that. Like that. Like I said, I feel like ultimatums can be good if they're used properly, you know? And I was using mine to protect myself, but not in a selfish way. It was like, we cannot keep dilly-dallying, stringing me along, doing this thing. I said, we together. Don't be trying to lock lips or whatever. And can you imagine what happened that night?
I didn't respond.
Nothing happened. He didn't respond for like 24 hours. And I was shocked because that's not what I was expecting. I was like, okay. But I was prepared for the worst, though, because if you're going to do something like that, you need to be prepared for the worst.
They might leave.
Like on that show, I think a lot of people thought they'd bring their partner on the show. They'd give them the ultimatum, and at the end, they'd be engaged. But that almost didn't happen for any. Only one of them got engaged. The rest of them, they were like, yeah, I'm good off of this. And people were looking shocked. It's like, what do you expect? You know what I mean? So that was how that happened. And then what was going through your mind when I actually said that? Were you expecting it?
No, I wasn't expecting it. But so here's the thing. With me, I was never in it to string you along. I was stringing you along because around that time, I didn't know what I wanted. I was really afraid of making a wrong decision. Not that you were a wrong decision, but it's like, okay, Jess is great, but like, what if I'm not supposed to be with Jess? What if I'm supposed to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of, like, my brain was what if? Like, what if? And anytime we would kiss, I would feel really bad. And I would be like, dang, I can't keep doing that to Jess because that's not cool. Like, that's not okay. And I always did care about her a whole lot. So I was doing that to myself a little bit, but I think for me at that time, that was the push that I really needed in order to make a decision.
Yeah.
Because unless I was pushed, who knows how long it would have been before I could make a decision.
Yeah. But also, while you were saying that, I was thinking like, yeah, you were stringing me along because not because you were a bad guy, but you couldn't make a decision. But also, you were stringing me along, but I let you. So you can't 100% blame someone for stringing you along. If you can say that he's stringing me along and you continue to play along, you are not letting them. If you don't realize, then it's on them. But if you can say to someone, he's stringing me along, and then you still are answering their phone calls, you're going on dates, you're kissing them, all that stuff, then you are officially letting him string you along, and he's not going to stop until you say, I'm like, this is enough.
For us, there was a time when we did, stop talking in the process. And I think that was because, like, I think I'm much more of a man of character now, but I had character then too, and I'm like, oh, we can't keep doing this forever. But men or women of less character will string you along indefinitely if they know they can.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. And see, my problem where I folded is like, remember when I said 2 minutes ago that I was fasting and I was like, God, is Jonathan my husband or not? And I got my answer, but Jonathan didn't get his yet for like another 2 years. So I feel like I was kind of letting him string me along because I was like, well, you're going to be my husband. So like, if I stop letting you string me along, or if I stop like communicating with you, you might date somebody else and I can't have that. But I feel
you
like
believe the promise?
I did, but I wanted to put it in my own hands.
Oh, okay.
And that's always where we fail. Trying to
failure.
Like when you don't wait in the right timing and try to rush ahead of God. We talk about this all the time, rushing ahead of God. Nothing good really comes from that. So he was stringing me along, we'll say that, with quotations if you're not watching on YouTube. Stringing me along, quote unquote. But I was 100% letting him out of fear. And I think a lot of people do that out of fear as well. Like you can tell something isn't right, but I'd rather it not be right while we're together or doing XYZ than cut it off and be now I am right because I'm by myself, but like I feel wrong because I'm by myself type of thing. People are too afraid to be alone or too afraid of, oh, but if I give him the ultimatum, then he's going to leave. It's like, okay. If you know that he might leave, if you give him that, why would you want to stay with somebody like that?
At a certain point, it's like, I think holding a standard for yourself and for what you want in your life rather than a way to manipulate someone to do something. It's like, for me, I know, well, I'll speak from Jess's perspective. She's like, I know I want to get married. I want to be with somebody who loves me and respects me and appreciates me. Right now, this is not what that is. So you can either get with the program of what that is, or I'm just gonna go. And I think that's very fair. Yeah. It's holding a certain standard for yourself.
Wait, are you talking about the first time I did that or the second time?
Either, both.
Oh, well, I guess we'll just jump into the second time because, I mean, the first time, like I said, I was fully prepared. Was I prepared? I don't know if I was fully prepared for first of all for him to not respond, but I knew I was gonna be okay because low key I was in a new season. I had just moved out of my parents' house and we lived in Port St. Lucie where there was not many options, and I moved into the sea of opportunities. So I was like, if it ain't you, let's figure this out because it will be somebody else. And I was I don't know if I'd say I'm perfectly okay with that because I always believed we'd be together, but I was like, if it's not you, then maybe I heard wrong. And I was prepared to accept that I was wrong and move forward. So I was like, I'm okay with that. But I think too many people are so like, who's ever going to love me like this? Or like, no one's going to love me. And like thinking that the person that they're with, that they're not happy with, but they have to stay. They're like, there's nobody else. Like I will be alone forever or it's this person. And like, I can almost guarantee you out of how many people are in this world? Like,
billions.
Yeah, billions. That's not the case ever. Like somebody else will love you more than that person. So I had to come to that. I'm like, it's either this or it's not. So long story short, we get together. Oh, well, 24 hours later, Jonathan comes to my house and he asked me to be his girlfriend. I was like, I knew you'd show up. So we get together. But what was even going through your like, why didn't you text me back?
I don't know. I don't 100% remember, but I think I just wanted to be sure with whatever we decided on.
That's fair, but I don't get why guys do this. Like, why couldn't you say, can I have a second to think about it? Like, no text back is kind of insane.
I don't really remember.
That's not very nice. Also, I wanted to ask.
Hands are so cold.
So I know it's cold in here. When you hit me with the thanks for being my best friend after we kissed, was that to like kind of put me back in like my place, like, oh, don't get too ahead of yourself now. Not in like that you would talk to me like that, like you're the boss here. But is it kind of like a, oh shoot, let's go back to friendship. Like, thank you, bestie, love you, friend, or
Yeah, I guess that maybe
subconsciously maybe?
I'm trying to remember, but I think it's probably because I didn't want it to be like another
deal?
thing. Yeah. It's like, let's just go back to the beginning of the day where everything was good and we were cool.
We were cool, and then we weren't.
Yeah, like we were really cool. Like it was everything was not platonic, but like we were like close friends.
Yeah, we had like an understanding at that point.
Yeah, we had reached an understanding. It was cool. I'm like, I don't want it to not be cool.
Yeah, bestie, thanks. No, that's crazy. I don't know.
Mistakes were made.
Yeah, it happens. It happens to the best of us. But also, I don't really know what my plan would have been anyways. Like, say you were to say, like, I don't think this is going to work out. Like, do you think is still smart for women to be friends?
Absolutely not.
I mean, we couldn't have been friends. I mean, I don't know if there was a world where we were not or acquaintances, friends.
Acquaintances, probably, because we would have been in the same spaces, but
Yeah.
you can't be friends.
Yeah, I know. It's like that.
Not friends for real, at least.
Yeah, because like you still want the thing to be a thing.
Even then, it's like once you get a certain level of closeness with somebody, you kind of nuke a real friendship.
Yeah, like you can't go back.
It's cooked.
That's why I feel like that's also why like a lot of people have hesitations with dating like their best friend and stuff, because if it doesn't work out, it's like it could possibly be over.
Well, what I'll say though is that if it never gets physical, then you have a much better chance.
That's very true. I can definitely agree with that. But
people, I mean, if you start having sex and touching and feeling up on each other, you cook yourself.
Yeah, you can just kiss the possibilities of a friendship after that goodbye, because it'll never be the same. You can be cool because people are always like, "Why we can't be friends?" You can be cool. You can be acquaintances. You can say hi, but it's not about to be like text them like, "Hey, yo, look at these new shoes I just bought," and then it's like, "Oh, how's mom? Like, I gotta come over for." Yeah, it can't be that way.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
I mean, it can, but it's not going to be for real. Like, something is going to end up happening. Like, it could be cool for maybe like 3 months. Like, see, I told you everything's fine. And then the bomb is going to go off eventually, right? When you least expect it. So,
Yeah.
it just doesn't work. Okay. So then we dated for like almost 2 years. We had like one little small breakup over the weekend for a second. And while we dated, like you guys, most of you know, the whole time we knew we probably might need to break up. But here's the thing for me, and I feel like this is why a lot of women men brought their partner on the show, The Ultimatum, in the first place, which we're really not going to dive too much into it because it's old news and like that's not what we're about to do. But the whole time I kind of knew like we're not on the same page. You know, like I felt like I was a little further along in my feelings and my security in our... Well, not security, because I didn't feel secure in our relationship, but I knew, like, if you were to ask me to marry you today, I would say yes. Like, I knew I wanted to be with you forever, but I felt like the feelings weren't returned. Bro, I remember one time I sent you this text of, like, all my feelings. Maybe we were, like, dating for 3 months, not that long, of, like, I just love you, and I just, you know, like, you really make me, like, so happy. And, like, it was, like, a very long paragraph, and your response was so short. And I was like, yeah, man, really appreciate that. Or something like that. I'm like, he's not where I'm at, bro. Like,
man, I wish I remember these things so I could refute them, but...
No, you can't, because I'm pretty sure if I've never deleted our text messages, then I can probably find it. But...
That's so long ago.
Hey, the little search bar, it'll do what it needs to do.
It goes back years?
I probably, yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm pretty sure. Should we pause and try to find it?
No, it's not that serious. I'll take your word for it.
All right, I'll find it later because now I have to see it. But I remember like I was like, oh, I would like send out little feelers to like see, is he there yet? And it would always be the same. Like I knew that he loved me, but I knew that he just wasn't sure. So that's when I had to issue like the last one. And it was very God ordained the way it happened because it wasn't just random. Like there had been a time, like we had broken up.
I know, I remember that it happened.
I remember why, but I don't remember like how
I
the
remember
conversation.
you had the most dramatic walk away cry I've ever seen in my entire life.
Okay, first of all, don't be rude because you hurt my feelings. No, wait.
It was so dramatic.
That was a different breakup.
Yeah, so we broke up twice. One little one and one big one.
I do remember the dramatic walk away cry, but I don't remember how that came about. But okay, whatever. But I don't think that was the same time as the Marry Me or Get Out of My Life.
No, not the
Oh,
same
that
time at
was
all.
a different. Okay, yeah.
No, that was like way before. No, but I'm saying that we did break up a small time, and then we broke up the real time.
Okay. Well, whatever.
Which I feel like is a fact.
Yes, that is a fact.
All right, then what are we arguing about?
Okay, the dramatics of it. I was trying to figure out.
No, the time you broke up with me for real, you weren't very dramatic at all.
Yeah,
it was more.
It was like more
It
of
was
a
lot
thug
more.
tier.
Yeah, it was a lot more matter of fact.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like I understood where you were coming from. You understood where you were coming from. It was the conversation that was like really sad, of course. So we both cried, but it wasn't like dramatic.
Your dad's office has seen a few breakups, bro. Like his parents' house is just like there's been so much that's happened there, but. Yeah. So basically we had, like I was saying, we had dated for like a year and a half or something with one small like 3-day breakup in between. And I think I was I 29? I think I was about 29 or 28 or whatever. We'd already known each other for like, I don't know, 6-7 years and being friends. So I was like, okay, like, let me just see. And Jonathan and I remember this conversation differently, but I think it's fine because
I think that's how God wanted it.
Yeah, we needed to break up no matter what. But I remember saying to him, and before this, I remember asking his father, who was a key part in our breakup, but also a key part in us getting married. Because if we didn't break up, we would have never got married, which sounds crazy, but it's just the truth.
It's true.
So I remember asking his dad earlier that day because I knew I just spent the weekend away. But when I was coming back, I knew we were going to talk later that evening. So I spoke to your dad, and I kind of told him everything that was going on, all of my hesitation, some of my red flags, and all the things. And I was like, okay, talking to his dad, I was like, if I was your daughter, would you tell me to stay with this guy? And he was like, okay, just to be honest, and obviously he loves his son more than anything, but he was like, if you were my daughter and all the things you're telling me are facts, no, I would not tell you to stay with him. And so before we even got to the house to talk, I already knew that we're not going to end up being together just because of how things have gone. We needed to break up whether his answer was yes or no. So I was kind of in the mindset, like, I don't think we're going to be together after this conversation. So I think that's what helped me not, like, have a huge breakdown. But so then I get to Jonathan, and he was looking like, kind of like, did you know a breakup was on the way? Like an official one?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, because the way he was acting, I was like, poor guy thinks we're going to stay together. Because I'm like, you're way too happy for me right now. So I was like, let me give him more of a melancholy, like, attitude. Because I need him to come to earth on my side and realize, like, this is about to be over. So I just asked him one simple question. Maybe we had small talk. I don't remember. I said, can you see yourself marrying me or proposing, whatever, like, within the next year? And he said, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm going to chime in.
Go ahead.
Here. What I heard was, not are you going to, but it's like, I think what she was saying was like, do you see yourself marrying me? Period. Like, am I marriage material? That's how I think she viewed it. Mm-hmm. But I think for me, it was like, are you going to marry me?
What is the difference?
No.
Wait, what do you think I was saying?
It's like,
again.
I think what you thought you were saying was, can you see yourself marrying me? Right? Period. What I heard was, are you going to marry me? Those are very different questions.
Okay.
Can I see it? Yeah, I can see it. We wouldn't be together if I couldn't see it.
Well, that's what I asked him.
Am I going to?
I don't know.
I don't know.
No, it's like, bro, we've been together for almost a year and a half, and we've known each other for way too long. I'm like, you still don't know? Bro, I was so tight. I was like, I was going to break up with you anyways, but I was like, you don't know? I was so mad.
I didn't know. What do you want? What do you want from me?
So I was like, all right, for sure. I was like, I didn't say that, but like that was in my head. I was like, well, I guess this is what's going to happen. And I think along with that, because of course, like I said, I think at the time I was 28, and obviously my life plan was not going to happen. The whole married at 25, kid by 28. I'm like, okay, we're already past that. But I was like, I can't waste any more time. But also the fear of starting over was also a little scary too. But I knew God was telling me, like, and I knew you knew this too, like, you guys need to break up. Like, whether he says yes or no, like, you guys need to break up. So a part of that was just being in obedience to what he wanted for us. Because even if he said, I'm really not sure, I could have been like, okay, well, like, let's still try to figure this out and stay together. Like, that's the easy answer.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people prefer to do because nobody wants to go through a heartbreak, because that was the worst heartbreak that I've ever gone through. I've said this before, but I thought I was going to die. And not that I was suicidal, but every morning I woke up, I was so annoyed that I had another chance at life, because I was like, it hurts too much to wake up. It seems so dramatic now looking back at it, but it just hurt. I didn't know what to do with myself. But I think, that's where the ultimatum happened. It's like, you can either tell me right now, are we going to get married or not? And if not, then I'm leaving him. And did I let you know, like, if you don't know, like, then I'm going to, did I give you a flat out ultimatum, or did I just ask you a question and then I broke up?
No, but I think we had a conversation about it afterwards. It's like, I remember part of the conversation being, if you figure out what you want and I'm still here, then like we have a chance at this. But if not, and I'm like, or if you figure out too late and I'm gone, like it is what it is. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a firm breakup.
Yeah, no, it's definitely firm. I just don't know if I had let you know ahead of time. Like, if you have to let me know if you're going to marry me or we're going to break up, or if I just asked you, like, hey, do you think you're going to...
No, I think it was framed like the first way. That like...
Oh, I was bold. I was not playing games. Okay,
and like, sure. It's crazy about it because I had friends telling me, it's like, yo, why didn't you just tell her you could see yourself marrying her?
Right. Lie to the girl.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not going to do that. But I think that's what I needed. And, certain people be like, oh, were you mad at your dad for telling her that? And I'm like, not at all. Because if I had a daughter, a son, and his girlfriend asked me that, I told him the same thing. I think it's what needed to happen. It was a catalyst. Sometimes like relationships are going in a pattern, and like it just needs something to interrupt the pattern. Like it needs a catalyst in order for something new to happen.
Right. Yeah.
It's like insanity doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. It's like I didn't know, and we were still dating. Once more time passed, and I didn't know.
Right. Yeah.
Like nothing changed my not knowing. Like no amount more time with Jess was gonna make me know or not know, because it wasn't about her. It was about me. Yeah. Like I knew her. We were friends for almost a decade at that point. So it wasn't about like, do I know her or not? It was just about me figuring out myself, and that wouldn't have happened unless we broke up. Yeah. All that to say, I think the ultimatum, it can be necessary. It can be a good thing, but it shouldn't be something that is abused. Right. Or it's like you use this to manipulate somebody.
Yeah. So it shouldn't be used as a weapon to always get your way.
So one thing I think where the show falls apart now, whereas I think all those people in that situation, one person really wants to get married, another person doesn't know. They're like, I don't know. I think a breakup would be more effective than bringing
another person,
somebody new.
Yeah, like what are you doing?
One, because I just feel like, so for anybody that is thinking, man, I want to marry this person, but they don't know if they want to marry me. But this other person's giving me the time of day. I'm gonna break up and give them the time of day now. One, grass isn't always greener. I didn't talk to anybody really when I was broken up with Jess. Jess started talking to somebody, and it seemed like a good thing, like a really good thing at that time. But now, from what we know about that situation, we can know 100% that wouldn't have been.
It wouldn't have worked out. Yeah.
It wouldn't have worked out. It wouldn't have been a good thing, and it would not the same problems, but I think it wouldn't have been a good thing. And I think it's easier to think that the way this sucks right now, someone else obviously would treat me better, and someone else might treat you better. Right. But the grass isn't always greener. Yeah. And then adding another element for the person that is confused. To the situation,
it's more confusing.
It's just going to be more confusing rather than adding clarity.
And what's also wrong with that show, because I don't suggest anybody ever try to use that to figure out should we get married or not. But when you first meet someone, say you're going through like a breakup or whatever, and like, oh, he's so horrible, he doesn't want to marry me, blah, blah. When you first meet someone, they're obviously going to show you all the green flags, all the fun stuff. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun with this new guy. He hasn't yelled at me. He's so nice. He compliments me every day, because in the beginning of a relationship, that's usually how it is. It's
you're in your best behavior. Yeah, everyone's on their best behavior.
Best behavior. You're basically at Disneyland. You're riding this new relationship high. It's like, oh, we talk for hours. It's so easy to talk for hours with someone you just met, because there's a million questions to ask.
You don't know anything about them.
You don't know nothing.
You're figuring it all out.
Sometimes when me and Jonathan go to dinner like on our own, I'm like, I don't really have nothing to say. Like, what? Like, we'd end up, obviously, we find something to say, but I'm like, there's not really much to talk about tonight, you know? Like, what am I going to ask you? Like, hey, has your favorite color changed? Just like, you know, I'm pretty sure when we like, add kids in the mix or something, or our life changes, we'll have more to talk about. But our life's been pretty much the same for a little while. So it's like so easy to feel like, oh, I'm getting bored with my partner, or like he doesn't, you know, he's not as interested in me as this new person, because that's not a real situation to be in.
Yeah.
Something that is on my heart that I have to say that we talked about like 5 minutes ago regarding your dad, because there will be no shade to my father-in-law, period. But also, I think people have to understand he was also my pastor at the time.
Yeah.
So like he was talking to me, obviously, as like we have a relationship because I've known him since I was born, but he was also talking to me as a pastor, even though I was asking you like, oh, if I was your daughter and this wasn't your son. But I think most dads probably would still try to be in favor of their son, of course, and be like, oh, you know, maybe not, but I think he can change. I think you should really talk to him and blah, blah, blah. I think if your dad was just your dad and not also my pastor, he probably would have done the dad thing. It's like, you know, I know things are tough right now, but like, just talk to him, give him a chance.
Let me tell you something.
Maybe not.
If this is my son, future son, I'm not
Do I sound dirty?
Yes, bruh. This poor girl.
I think I might too. I don't know. We don't have kids yet, so I don't know how.
Put up or shut up.
But if our son's daughter came to me and was like telling me all these things, I might have to fact check before I say. I might be like, hey, let me call you right back. And like, unless she hits me with a please don't say anything. Sometimes this is off topic, but I hate when people tell me like insane information and like, you can't say anything though. Like if someone saw Jonathan cheating on me, it's like, hey, you can't say anything, but I saw Jonathan cheating on you. Don't even bother with the you can't say anything part, because I'm definitely going to say something.
Just don't tell me if you don't want me to.
Just don't tell me.
If you don't want me to say anything.
Don't tell me. Yeah. So I don't know if it was my child. I got to fact check first because we can be a little dramatic. But I think also since your dad was so knowledgeable and you've had conversations with him, I think he knew what I was saying was factual, and like he knew your feelings were probably a little shaky, and he's like, all right, yeah, I don't think my son's there yet, so maybe you probably guys should break up. So I just wanted to say that because it may sound a little like, dang, why did your dad do that? Because he just flat out was like, I
don't feel that way at all.
Well, I know you wouldn't because you're an understanding person, but some people don't understand. So just wanted to say that. But yeah, all in all, I think the main point here is to not be afraid. And we say this all the time, but to not be afraid of a breakup. I know plenty of people who are now married who have broken up before, and the breakup is what it took to get them there. Because when we broke up, like, you can explain like what happened. Like, that's when you realized, oh, this is what I want.
Yeah, you just had to go through process.
Yeah, sometimes space is sometimes the best thing that you can give a person. The more you try to hold on to something, the more someone is going to draw away.
Yeah, when you're in a relationship, it's hard to make decisions like that because the whole time you're afraid of losing the person. Mm-hmm. But when the person's already lost, you can decide what you want for real. Mm-hmm. Like, independent of them, of their feelings, kind of. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, all right, what do I want to do? Yeah. And I was telling this to somebody. I mean, I know who it was. I'm just not going to say who it was. Okay. But be as selfish as you can while you're dating, because once you get married, like, it's about us. Everything's about us.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
So not selfish and, like, don't care about the other person, but say, like, you really love and care about somebody and they want to get married, but you're unsure. Mm-hmm. Don't make a decision because, like, she's going to be really sad if I don't say yes and I don't.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying, like, when you're single, you have to make decisions. I mean, for yourself. Ultimately, because you're the person who's going to have to live with that once you're married.
Right.
You know, we've had people in the comments say, like, you know, if you're unhappy, just get divorced. And it's like, if you live by a secular world ethic, then you can do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. But, you know, if you want to do it on a Jesus ethic, divorce, other than like extenuating circumstances, isn't really a thing. Right. So when we're together now, me and you, my primary concern isn't really my feelings. Mm-hmm. It's our relationship. Mm-hmm. And my feelings come second. Like, whatever decision I make is in what's best interest of our relationship. Yeah. So it's like, if I had a job opportunity that like would be a dream job, but it would take me to Spain. I have to live in Spain. Mm-hmm. And my wife don't want to live in Spain. guess what? I'm not going to Spain because it's no longer about, it's like, oh, but my career, it's no longer about my career. My relationship with Jess, I mean, other than my relationship with God, is the most important thing, right? So once you get married, once you're locked in, it's no longer about, oh, I don't really feel like,
Yeah.
So make those decisions for yourself now, because that's what you're going to be dealing with forever later.
Fantastic advice. And just to bring it back again, because I feel like that example may have went over some of y'all head if you wasn't locked in. So what he's saying with like be selfish is like, do not stay with somebody for them. It's like, oh, well, they just lost. This is a horrible example, or like a sad one, but like, oh, like their mom just passed away. Like I have to stay with him. Like I'm the only like woman in his life who loves him now. Like even though I don't really want to be with him, but like I have to be there for him. Or like, oh my gosh, his daughter loves me. He's not my dream guy, but his daughter loves me and I love her, so we're gonna stay together. Like think about yourself. Don't stay with somebody because of their issues. Do what you have to do. So I know we said we weren't really gonna talk about the show, but here is a way when we're talking about like stop trying to be with someone and like force it, because it only pushes them further away. One of the couples in the show, I know the guy's name. His name's JR. I forgot the girl's name, like Savannah or something like that. Do you remember her name? The black girl with the blonde hair?
I don't remember.
Yeah, she had like a different type of name. But anyways, I remember a lot of the times in the show, like she would say really, like she would tell him her feelings. Kind of like what Jonathan did to me early in our relationship. Like tell him her feelings. His response would be, aw. Like that's how you know. Like wrap it up. Get out of there. Or when she like did the birthday celebration for him, like she went out of her way because I feel like she knew I need to do things to make him want to marry me. Like there's nothing you can do to make a man want, like you can't, oh, I'm going to wash his clothes or make his lunch and all these things. If he wanted to marry you and you start making his lunch, he's going to want to marry you because he already wanted to. But if he doesn't want to marry you, you're making his lunch. I got to show him I'm going to iron his clothes. He's going to hit you with a, aw, because he doesn't want to marry you for real. Like he doesn't want to be with you. So there's not anything you can do to change a man's mind if his mind is already like made up. So
yeah, or you might fake change his mind, but you don't want to.
Yeah, like it's like, man, she does make my lunch, so I guess sure, I'll marry. Like if the man's gonna hit you with a sure type of, I mean, that might not be his verbal response, but if it's like she does do all this stuff for me, dog, like all right, why not? Like why not? Or sure, like no way. It needs to be like I love her so much. If that's why a man married you because of the things that you can do for him, and you think that I won, I got him, like you got nothing, like. Now you have to keep up this thing that you have done. God forbid, when you have a baby and you're on bed rest and you can't do these things, and now he's like, I need to find someone else who can cook my food, because that's why I married you. So
yeah, I
say all that to say you can't force someone to want to marry you by the things that you can do for them.
Yeah, because I think sometimes people might say you pose an ultimatum like that, like we had, and the person really does like you a lot, but they're still not sure. Some men might say yes.
Yeah, because they don't want to lose you.
Because they don't want to lose you, or woman, vice versa. But in those situations, you have to just make sure to be aware, kind of like what Jess was saying, that, you know, if their responses seem pensive or they're not acting like themselves, or don't just keep holding on because you're like, oh, he said yes, he gave me what I wanted.
Right.
You might need to have that conversation. Like, hey, I know you said yes, but like if you're having reservation, I think we both need to know, like, right now.
Yeah. Shout out to you for being honest about it, because you really could have lied, or just lied.
Well, I couldn't do you like that, bro.
Thanks. Hi, we love high-fiving on this channel. Well, that's really nice of you. And all that to say, yes, we broke up, but we still got married, so it's possible.
It's possible. Or you might just stay broken up,
and then you find the real love of your life who has everything that you actually wanted.
Either way, you don't waste time.
Either way, you win. Honestly, you either break up, you get back together, you get married, or you break up, and then the real person you're supposed to be comes along. So, like, you can still win. A breakup can definitely be a win. It's gonna hurt for a couple of. I'm sorry, we're gonna end this soon because Jonathan cannot stop yawning.
I didn't yawn at the time, actually.
Was it just a deep sigh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, a breakup is always gonna be a good thing. I'm sorry. I'm so pro breakup. Everybody break up right now. Not saying that you need to break up for every little thing. Now,
no, please don't. Please don't do that.
That's not what I'm saying. If you guys are constantly breaking up, like, and you don't know how to work things out, that's a red flag.
No, this is not something I think that should ever happen more than like once or twice in a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that's how things go. You need to be able to work through things. But I think when you reach like a big impasse, where it's just like, it's like this is a point of contention that we just can't get past. And if it continues, we can't continue. Like somebody wanting kids, somebody not wanting kids.
Right.
Like stuff like that.
Yeah, or trying to like stay together to see if I can change their mind later. It's like,
Whack.
Don't do that. All right.
Whack.
I think we've pretty much said all we needed to say on this. I mean, there's so many more examples we could give, but I think you guys get the picture. And I hope this was helpful for someone. If you're going through this, if you know a friend going through this, go ahead and send this to them. Maybe they need to shoot out a soft ultimatum. We'll call it a soft ultimatum. Nothing crazy, but have the conversation and make the right decision towards the end. It's like, okay, we had this conversation. We both realized it's not really going to work. So unfortunately, maybe we should just part ways. Okay, we can really end this now. I feel like we're beating a dead horse. So thank you guys so much for watching. Is there anything you want to say?
I was going to say something about food.
No, we're about to have some.
Enjoy the food that you have in your lives, guys.
Or maybe you could also try a fast to see if I should be with this person or not. Okay?
Oh yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah. So, but if you're not fasting, enjoy your meal tonight for the both of us. We love you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share it with a friend, and also check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify every Tuesday.
Boom.
All right.
Bye.
We love you guys. Bye.